The Titanic is maybe one of the dumbest stories in modern contemporary history. You got an unsinkable ship that sinks. They didn't bring enough lifeboats, even though they should have. And people told them that an iceberg was coming, and they said, I can't hear you. Can't hear you. That sounds dumb. Dumbo alert. There's no icebergs in the ocean.
It was all a dream.
What? Most people will probably tell you the Titanic was just an isolated event. Unfortunate. Couldn't avoid it. Couldn't have avoided it. But that's not the case. That's just not the case, guys. White Star Line, the company, the masterminds behind the Titanic, get a pretty good rap in history, and I'm here to try and change that, actually. Now, let's be fair. Most White Star Line ships, they didn't sink. Okay? I'll give it to them. Most of their ships did not sink, which, credit where credit's due, but it is kind of insane how many of them did. We're gonna talk about it today. We're gonna make a couple jokes. We're gonna laugh a little bit. We're gonna learn. We're gonna learn a little bit. It's an education channel now. It's educational now. And I know what you're saying. Are you really going to make fun of tragic events that resulted in thousands dead? Not exactly. Not exactly. But yes, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Actually, yeah, you're exactly right. You really think I shouldn't make any jokes and play this completely straight? Here's what I'm gonna say. Anyone who was ever on any of the ships I'm going to talk about is dead, which, as you're going to find out, has very little to do with time and a lot more to do with riding a White Star Liner. If any ghosts want a piece of this, you can try. But I'm going to be coming back with you. I'm going to be coming back to you with a Danny Phantom punch, with an ecto punch, with a ghost punch, just pretend I said some sort of shit from that show. Look, guys, I'm gonna level with you. My favorite Butch Hartman show is Hobby Kids Adventures.
Carl's Jr.
I love Hardee's. I really fucking love Hardee's. All right, enough dicking around. Enough bullshit. Let's start talking about White Star Line, the company behind it all. The one boat manufacturer who was brave enough to say, what if we sank everything we could? The company was founded in 1845 to capitalize on the Australian gold rush, and White Star Line wasted no time in their path to dominate the ocean floor. John Pilkington and Henry Wilson, I actually remembered those this time, they set a clear example for what they wanted with their company by sinking the biggest ship of all time. Not of all time. Sinking the biggest ship of the 1800s. No, that's not true either. Just sinking the biggest ship of the time on his maiden voyage immediately. A practice that White Star Line would carry on for generations to come. Literally, generations to come. Let's talk about the Taylor for a minute. Built in only 6 months, this ship was a 3-deck beast, coming in at 230 feet long, or 70 meters if you're stupid. Unfortunately, this ship's captain, 29-year-old John Noble, was a little bit too inexperienced for piloting the largest ship in the world at the time. And despite knowing about the 4,000-ton limit, he still allowed your mother to board, and well, we all know how that went. Got him. Also on board were 650 passengers. Out of the 71 crew members, only 37 had actually been trained on how to be on a boat. And out of those 37, 10 of them couldn't speak English at all, so communication was a bit of an issue on this boat. A lot of the crew and passengers just wanted a free ride to Australia. They didn't really care about the gold, they just wanted to go there, which, you know, whatever. Your funeral, kid. Oh, I shouldn't say that. That's a yikes. As long as the compass worked, though, it should be smooth sailing, everything should work. Except the compass didn't work. Well, the compass didn't work because there was a giant iron hole which made it impossible to navigate because the compass was attracted to the pole instead of the North Pole. There's a better way to word this. You know what I'm fucking saying though. Instead of going towards Australia, south, they were going back towards Ireland, west. Okay, so fine. We'll end up at Ireland, realize we made a mistake, and recalibrate the compasses, and everything will be fine, right? Everything will be fine. Well, it wouldn't be a White Star Liner without everything, and I mean everything, being a mess. The rudder was too small for a ship of the Taylor size, so they couldn't really steer with that. And, yes, the rigging was faulty, and the ropes weren't stretched, so using the sails was impossible, using the rudder was impossible. But how did they even steer into the Irish coast? Look, bro, I only looked at Wikipedia, I'm not a fucking source, okay? So anyway, the ship is sinking. Put down the anchor.
Hey!
Uh-oh, the anchor chain broke. At the end of the day, nobody is quite sure how many people died, but the estimates are about 400, which is insane. Honestly, I could keep going with stories like this. You got the SS Royal Standard, White Star, now under new owners in 1863, smashed into an iceberg. Ironic, I know. Then, there's the SS Atlantic. Get a load of this shit. Once again, new owners. Tuberculosis, Dutch. Then there's the SS Atlantic. Once again, new owners in 1873. This tragedy resulted in 500 people dying, and it was bad enough that White Star Line actually, for a while, denied that it happened at all and kept it really hush-hush. Not a lot of people at the time knew about this. Pretty fucked up if you ask me, but I think a lot of this is pretty fucked up. Then you got the RMS Republic, collided with another ship in Florida. In 1926, skipping a little bit past the Titanic, we're gonna go back to that, but in 1926, the Olympic, Titanic's sister, killed 26 men when she decimated a Nantucket ship. Fucking hell. Decimated a Nantucket death ship. Fuck it, it's a death ship now. Her nickname was Old Reliable. Which is really funny to think about. How a White Star Line ship can kill 26 people and still be called Old Reliable. Can't make this shit up, folks. I guess their other ships usually have 100+ kill streaks. Alright guys, let's stop beating around the dick and talk about the Titanic. The legendary, the extraordinary, unsinkable motherfucker, the Titanic. Fucking hate this boat. The Titanic was the biggest ship to ever sink at the time. Although, I'll let you take a wild guess who would beat that record. Something that I've always thought about Titanic, and that was even before I started researching for this video, was that the marketing for it was really dumb. I mean, they leaned really heavily into unsinkable ship. This boat will never sink, it's just not possible. And I remember always thinking, that's a really dumb marketing campaign for a boat. Because, like, not sinking is maybe the only thing that a boat has to do. That would be like if Toyota started doing a campaign saying, our wheels won't fall off the car, folks. This car, the wheels will never fall off when you don't want them to. And it's like, that's like the bare minimum of what you gotta do. Everyone would say, what the fuck? But after you start to learn more about the Titanic and White Star Line, you start to realize, okay, maybe we do need this warning because we're not very good at what we do. So, you know, fuck it. People gave them a pass. And yeah, people deserve second chances, although I think this may be like chance 7 or something. We're whatever. You do you, people from 1912. These guys were the NASCAR of cruise ships. Although, I guess NASCAR has a lower fatality rate. You'd be safer traveling in a Dale Earnhardt than a White Star Liner. So in 1912, nobody was held accountable for anything at all. You could kind of just do whatever you wanted. Load the ship up with Irish and European immigrants and set sail for adventure, ladies and gentlemen. They all wanted to go to America to work in asbestos factories, get paid 20 cents an hour, 20-hour shifts, and live with 20 roommates in a one-bedroom apartment. It's the American dream, motherfucker. American dream. Yeehaw. New York is a shithole. Most of the malpractice of the Titanic is pretty well known. You got your classics like no lifeboats, no general caring for the surrounding waters. You've got 2,208 people with a capacity for 3,339. Well, I'd say 20 lifeboats will do you right. 20 lifeboats is actually how many they had, because really they were just there to impress the safety inspector pretty much. In the minds of White Star Line, these were unnecessary. I'm surprised that one night they didn't just throw them off the boat, because who needs them? I literally wouldn't be surprised to find out that they did that. They all said to themselves, oh, we don't need more lifeboats than this, because this ship will never sink. The only way this ship could ever sink is if more than 4 of its hulls were breached by an iceberg. Oh no. Oh no. You go through these shipwrecks, and it actually does become kind of hard to place the blame, which sounds insane because I've been putting specifically White Star Line on blast for however long this video ends up being. But something to keep in mind, a lot of these wrecks were because of things that they couldn't have possibly known would have been problems, like a massive iron hull. They probably didn't know that's how compasses get fucked up, or fog, or storms. A lot of it was learning along the way, because building and especially piloting the biggest boats in the world at the time couldn't have been an easy task. And despite all the shade I've been throwing at White Star Line, without their contributions, we probably wouldn't have ever gotten the Weezer cruise. Now, that's a boat I'd love to see at the bottom of the ocean, am I right, guys? Shortly after the Titanic, World War I would start. And when I say shortly, I mean like 5 years, but die. White Star Line would lend a lot of his boats to boost the war effort in what was probably maybe the most pointless war of all time. There's worse wars. We can talk about the Banana Wars or the Coca-Cola Death Squads, but those are topics for later videos. But my point is that White Star Line would lose a lot of ships in the war, but I can't really fault them for that because they were torpedoed. So, I mean, I'd have to be a real dick to jest about that, wouldn't I? I do want to close this video off with one of the most badass things that I think White Star Line ever did, and I think it'd be a shame to not talk about this because it's a great. One day, the RMS Olympic was transporting U.S. troops into France when a German U-boat named SMU-103 decided that it wanted to fuck around today. It said, ooh, time to fuck around, time to fuck shit up. But little did they know just how much the Olympic was also on that fuck shit. You see, this U-boat sucked ass. They were spotted pretty quickly, and despite getting a few torpedoes launched into the Olympic, it wasn't enough because the Olympic immediately got on his guns and started raining hell on this U-boat. And the U-boat was like, oh, I'm about to head out. Then the Olympic said,
good night, girl. I'll see you tomorrow.
What the Olympic did next was it started turning around while still shooting the shit out of the submarine. And it was gearing up to ram a submarine. And it fucking did it. It rammed straight into it and then cut the Let me just check my script to make sure I'm saying this right. The Olympic's propeller sliced right through the pressure hull of the German U-boat. And I like this detail Wikipedia threw in. The Olympic did not stop to pick up any survivors. Hell yeah, dude. So that's a cool enough story to make me say, you know what, White Star Line? We cool. They did whatever they wanted. They didn't take any shit. Today, the company no longer exists, but it's not for reasons you would expect, like malpractice or negligence. Today, the company no longer exists. As it turns out, the Great Depression hit the cruise industry like a cruise missile. I don't really know what my point in this video is anymore, because I've gone from relentless shit talking about a now defunct cruise ship line to admiration and praise. Do what you will with any of this information I've given you, and take it with a grain of salt, because I'm certainly not the most knowledgeable person about boats. Look at it this way. If the White Star Line can fuck up that much and still keep going, baby, there's nothing you can't do neither.